Hello everybody, and thank you for joining us here at the Canyon City for another virtual story time. We'd like to start our story times off with our welcome song, and it's sung to the tune of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and it goes, "Oh, welcome, welcome everyone, now you're here, let's have some fun. First we'll clap our hands just so, then we'll bend and touch our toes. Welcome, welcome everyone, now you're here, let's have some fun." Good job, everyone. Parents, hopefully you're still enjoying our virtual story times. Please stop in. We are doing in-person story times Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, all at 10:30, so we hope to see you here. Brings us to our first story. Applesauce season. Applesauce Season by Eden Ross Lipson, published by Roaring Brook Press, New York. Applesauce season starts just about the time school opens. When it is still hot and summery, but vacation is over. One day Grandma says, "It's time for applesauce." We live in the city. There are no apple trees, but there are farmers markets where we get lots of apples. Sometimes my grandmother goes to the market, sometimes my mom and dad go, and sometimes my big sisters. If I don't have soccer, I go too. I love apples and Ames. In our market, first come Ida Reds and Paula Red, 20-ounce and Macintosh, Ginger Gold and Jonna Gold. Later there's Macomb, Baldwin, Northern Spy, and King David. And after that comes Winsep and Black Twig, and Mutsu and Mutsu's Mothers. And there are lots of others. We buy 6 pounds of apple for sauce, because that's just how much our sauce pot holds. And we buy as many more for what Grandma calls eating out of hand. When we get home, the sauce apples are dumped into the kitchen sink and washed. I stand on the stepladder right next to the counter where the grown-ups chop the apples and choose the ones to cut up first. Sometimes I say, put in the little ones. Sometimes the big ones. Sometimes the dark red and yellow ones. My grandmother says there have to be at least 3 kinds of each in each pot of sauce for real flavor. But sometimes we use more. One of this, one of that, too. That's why our applesauce is different every week. As one kind of apple disappears, another takes its place. Mom cuts them into square quarters. Grandma cuts them into 6. I don't know why. The apples go into the pot, skin, seed, and all. When it is still summer and there's no cider yet, we add a glass of water, or juice, so the apples won't burn when they cook. Later we add fresh cider. It doesn't take the apples long to be soft and bubbly to start to smell good. The first time we make sauce, we make fresh cinnamon sugar too. I put sugar in a pretty jar and add some dark brown ground cinnamon and put a lid on it tight and shake till the sugar turns pale brown. When the apples are all soft, a grown-up turns off the stove and opens the pot and lets the mush cool a bit while I go and get the food mill. We put the hooks on the bottom of the mill on top of the big bowl and carefully put the warm cooked apples into it. We grind and scrape till the apples have gone through the bowl below. All that's left in the mill is the small clumps of cooked skin and cores and seeds. Then I put in some of the cinnamon sugar into the apples. Not much, just a little. Mom puts in a little slice of butter about the size of the tip of her pinky finger, and Grandma adds a tiny bit of salt. We taste till it tastes just right, and then it cools some more and thickens. Then it's ready. Daddy doesn't make applesauce. He makes good things to go with it, like potato pancakes, or, for special mornings, fancy thin pancakes called crepes. He puts it in with roast, and if there's any left at the end of the week, he uses it as a cake, and that's very good for snacking. We celebrate the first sauce of the season. My big sisters and the grown-ups, sometimes the neighbors, too, all sit at the table. We wait until everyone is served. I get a special cup, and then we make a good wish for the rest of the season. We eat applesauce plain, or with ice cream, or cottage cheese, or gingerbread, or cookies, or sliced bananas. The color and the thickness and the taste of the sauce changes every single week. Sometimes it's pink and very sweet. Sometimes it's pale brown and a little dry, so we add more cider. Later, towards Thanksgiving, it's usually yellow. It is always delicious. By December, there are no more new kinds of apples, so we stop making sauce and we just eat them. There are other things to do with apples. My grandpa didn't like birthday cake, so he always had apple pie. We remember his birthday by having apple pie with ice cream and a candle on top. Grandpa always saved a piece of that pie for breakfast, to eat with a sharp yellow cheese. Daddy sometimes has that too. Apple pie is good, but I still like applesauce the best. Maybe I'll change my mind when I grow up. Maybe not. Applesauce season. Hopefully everybody's been practicing good hygiene still. We've been using a song here, the hand washing song, and it's sung to the tune of Frere Jacques, and it goes, tops and bottoms, in between, rub them all together, nice and clean, tops and bottoms, in between, rub them all together, nice and clean. Good job, everyone. Brings us to our second book, The Apple Pie That Papa Baked. The Apple Pie That Papa Baked by Lauren Thompson, published by Simon & Schuster Books for Young Readers. This is the pie, warm and sweet, that Papa baked. Oh, there goes Papa, up the hill. These are the apples, juicy and red, that went in the pie, warm and sweet, that Papa baked. This is the tree, crooked and strong, that grew the apples, juicy and red, that went in the pie, warm and sweet, that Papa baked. These are the roots, deep and fine, that fed the tree, crooked and strong, that grew the apples, juicy and red, that went in the pie, warm and sweet, that Papa baked. This is the rain, cool and fresh, that watered the roots, deep and fine, that fed the tree, crooked and strong, that grew the apples, juicy and red, that went in the pie, warm and sweet, that Papa baked. These are the clouds, heaped and round, that dropped the rain, cool and fresh, that watered the roots, deep and fine, that fed the tree, crooked and strong, that grew the apples, juicy and red, that went in the pie, warm and sweet, that Papa baked. This is the sky, wide and fair, that carried the clouds, heaped and round, that dropped the rain, cool and fresh, that watered the roots, deep and fine, that fed the tree, crooked and strong, that grew the apples, juicy and red, that went in the pie, warm and sweet, that Papa baked. This is the sun, fiery bright, that lit the sky, wide and fair, that carried the clouds, heaped and round, that dropped the rain, cool and fresh, that watered the roots, deep and fine, that fed the tree, crooked and strong, that grew the apples, juicy and red, that went in the pie, warm and sweet, that Papa baked. This is the world, blooming with life, that spins with the sun, fiery and bright, that lights the sky, wide and fair, that carries the clouds, heaped and round, that drops the rain, cool and fresh, that waters the roots, deep and fine, that fed the tree, crooked and strong, that grows the apples, juicy and red, that go in the pies, warm and sweet, that Papa bakes. This is the pie, warm and sweet, that Papa baked. For me, and for you. The end. The apple pie that Papa baked. Thank you for joining us for another virtual story time, and we will see you next week.